Hey, what's up? Mike here, Laker Talk. I want to recap this Mitch Kupchak exit interview that happened yesterday, April 15th. And I want to recap, just share my thoughts and kind of just sum up what he said, save you about an hour worth of your time because it's like a 44-minute exit interview. And just share my thoughts on what he said and what I think is going to happen in the next few weeks. First off, Mitch Kupchak said all the right things. In my opinion, I'm a Mitch Kupchak fan, and I'll talk about why in a second. But he said all the right things. You know, like when the guy heads up your organization in terms of like your player personnel and all that stuff, operations, you don't want a guy to go out there and say mean things to your coach, say mean things about certain players, because that puts a bad taste in other players' mouth, like potential free agents. So you never want a guy, basically when you have a business guy ahead of your basketball operations, you want them to say the right things. And Mitch Kupchak basically did in his exit interview. I love everything that he said. And he started off, he thanks Kobe Bryant. And then when he got into questions, first question about the coaching staff, what's your opinion on the coaching staff? Where are you going to go with it? His response is, over the next couple weeks, they always have an exit interview with the coaches. They let a few things die down, and then Mitch Kupchak, Jim Buss, and Byron Scott will sit down and chat about the season and going forward. The way I see it is, around this time in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that's when we'll know when Byron Scott gets fired or not. 100% sure there is no way in my mind that we would keep Byron Scott, and I don't think going forward Mitch Kupchak believes that too. He doesn't want to say the mean things, but right now he says Byron Scott's under contract, but anything can happen, and basically like wait and see. And he can't give any indication that he's going to fire him right now. That would look bad, in the public's eye. So basically in 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to meet, and we're going to know Byron Scott sort of if he's gone or not. I wrote some notes here so I can remember. So yeah, they talked about Byron Scott. He talked about the cap space. We have $60 million in cap space, close to $60 million in cap space, and he talked about potentially signing 2 max players. So he's obviously looking at that as an option. And he said something about, we don't know if we'll use all the cap money or not. Basically, if there are 2 cap players that are out there that they like, that's a potential. He talked about the free agent market, about how we're going to be aggressive in the free agent market. So obviously, every free agent that's out there, Kevin Durant and everyone else, they're going to go after aggressively. He feels that with Kobe Bryant gone, or when Kobe Bryant was here last year with basic uncertainty, it wasn't a good fit for free agents out there because they know Kobe Bryant was coming back. We had an injury. We didn't know if we were going to get. We didn't know what D'Angelo Russell was going to be and who our second pick was going to be and all that stuff. But now Kobe Bryant's gone. We feel that, or he feels that, it's a clean slate. So free agents will see what we're working with, D'Angelo, Clarkson, and Randall, and that's a good look, right? We don't have Kobe in the picture. Also, he did talk about selling LA as a thing, and I know that kind of like hurt us when we were like, yeah, come to LA because LA is good, it's good weather and all that stuff, but it didn't really work out. Here's the thing. He also talked about this. Oh, well, here's the thing. You always got to sell LA as LA. And he also touched on this, the fact that LA, the Laker fans gave Kobe Bryant an exit, like a warm welcome or like a huge thank you, the way we did. Pretty much no other franchise ever does that for a player. He thought that was a good look, and players, potential free agents, can see that and see how we treat our own, so to speak. He summed it up as basically, better than that game, and the sort of like the energy and all that stuff, and the feeling was up there to par with any Game 7, any championship that he's been a part of since the 80s, since about 80, he said. So, and I agree with him on that. So the other thing was he talked about our draft pick, and he says that he really wants our draft pick first and foremost. Okay, so he wants to get the #2 pick. They have, I guess, based on that, he has an idea. He talked about we need some wing. He would love to get a wing player in here. Obviously, there are wing players on the market or in the draft. You know, Ingram, that guy Bender, and Simmons is sort of like a wing player. So obviously, one of those three would be one of the picks, right? He did say that anything's on the table in terms of, because he was asked, are you going in the offseason looking for potential trades or whatnot? Or is it just going within the draft and that building off that? He goes, everything is on the table. So the way I see it, that means that trades are on the table, whether it's the pick, it's Clarkson, it's Randall, I don't know if it's D'Angelo as well. He basically said everything is on the table and they look at everything. That's what I got from it. I highly doubt that he would trade D'Angelo Russell. What he did say about D'Angelo Russell, a couple of interesting things. That he was asked about D'Angelo Russell, and like somebody asked him like why was his assist total really low, and he goes, that's really interesting. Like D'Angelo can do two things: he can score and he knows he can pass. How we figure out how to use him is what we have to do going forward. He basically did kind of allude to the fact that D'Angelo didn't show both. He showed that he could score. But the other thing is he's very skilled in passing, but he didn't utilize that skill. So the question is, what type of game is he going to be going forward? He said we need to develop that. He also was asked about the D'Angelo Russell incident and with the video thing, and he said, you know what, they're handling it pretty well. You know, they're kind of like moving on from it. And he did say this. He said, he made a mistake and he's going to succeed from it. He's going to get better from it. He said, and he pointed at the crowd or the media. He said, if anybody here never made a mistake, especially when you were 18, 19, please step forward. I thought that was pretty cool because obviously, you know, that was like a playoff, like what Jesus said when they caught the adulterous woman. You know, he was like, if anybody, you know, didn't do anything wrong, step forward. And no one stepped forward, obviously, which means that everybody made mistakes. And he said this, he goes, and I'm looking at a room full of successful people. And he goes, D'Angelo will be successful too. And so I thought that was like he was preaching right there when he said that. Basically, people make mistakes when they're young, 18, 19, 20, but they still become successful people. And he says D'Angelo's going to be successful. Which was cool. Outside of all this, what do I take from it? I believe in Mitch Kupchak wholeheartedly. He's one of the smartest NBA minds in basketball. I believe that he's going to do the right things going forward. Now with Kobe gone, we had a clean slate. We got $60 million in cap. I believe regardless of what happens, he did say this about Byron Scott, that with the hand that he was dealt, the uncertainty of Kobe playing each night, you know, things like that, he did the best that he could, you know. Yes, we know we could have a list of things that Byron Scott did wrong, but I believe Byron Scott will be fired and we're going to bring in somebody else, like a Mark Jackson. I look at someone like a Mark Jackson because I believe that he's someone that can inspire young guys. He can work with young guys. He has a history of building up young guys like Steph and Clay. And I think out of all the people that are on the market right now, Luke Walton, Tom Thibodeau is a good coach. I think we need inspiration right now going forward, and I think Mark Jackson will be great. Mitch Kupchak, I like Mitch Kupchak. I believe in Mitch. Why? Because of what he's done. I mean, I stated this before. He got Pau Gasol for a bag of chips and some chicken wings, basically. He traded for Pau Gasol, for Kwame Brown. He drafted Andrew Bynum, and those guys helped us win a couple chips. He traded for Chris Paul, okay? The trade was ours. He traded for Chris Paul. We were going to have Chris Paul. NBA took it away. He traded for Dwight. He got us Dwight Howard. We were begging for Dwight Howard. He got us Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was an idiot. Didn't want to stay in LA. Didn't work out. Got, fine. All that said and done, he has done a great job in situating our contracts to the point to where right now he set it up to where Kobe retires. We now have so much cap space going forward. We don't have really hardly any bad contracts. I think Nick Young's the only bad one, but that one's an expiring contract, so he's tradable. He's a tradable asset right now after this year. And so, you know what? I believe in Mitch. So I say we have to wait a few weeks to find out the fate of Byron Scott. Also, he says around July 1st, we have to wait till the playoffs are over for us to start making moves, because there's players obviously in the playoffs that will become free agents that we will be going after. So that's what my thinking is. I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff going on this summer, and we just got to trust Mitch Kupchak and believe that he's going to do a good job. All right, that's my thoughts. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing. And yes, I will be doing videos throughout the summer and throughout next year and forever and ever and ever, as long as I'm watching basketball and I have a camera and I can shoot videos. So I know people were saying, Mike, are you going to continue to do videos through the summer, now that the season's over? Always. Anything that I can touch on, and obviously regarding the Lakers, I will be shooting videos. Anything that I want to touch on, if there's going on anything exciting about the NBA playoffs, I'll touch on that too. So hit me up in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at MikeSportsLA. We'll talk soon. Peace.